So today is May 16th, 2025. Exactly 15 years ago, one of the greatest hard rock and metal singers of all time left us, Mr. Ronnie James Dio. And, I normally don't do that like every year on the anniversary of his death or birthday, do like a, video talking about it. I know a lot of people like to do that. But 15 years, first of all, I can't believe it's been 15 years. It's a long time, but it seems like yesterday. Because I think most of us who are fans of Ronnie James Dio remember that day. It's not a good memory. I remember exactly where I was here at home. I was up on my back patio when I heard the news. And I remember like just being absolutely stunned and floored and saddened. And it like hurt, right? Because when you have someone who you idolize, I guess is the term, or, look up to and have these great feelings of respect for all of the great things that they did and how they enriched our lives. It hurts to let them go, right? Even though we knew how sick he was at the time and we knew it was probably inevitable, but it happened very quickly, right? Because we didn't hear about Ronnie's prognosis, with his stomach cancer. Wasn't that long before. It just seemed like, okay, Ronnie's got cancer. He's going through treatment. We'll see how it goes. And then it seemed like a few short months later and he's gone, right? And this is not that long after I saw, him with Vinny, Geezer, and Tony in the Heaven and Hell band. Saw them at the theater at Madison Square Garden, right? And thinking, we're going to have these guys for forever and ever, right? And then not long afterwards, he's sick, and then he's gone. So I just wanted to do kind of like a little remembering Ronnie James Dio and talk a little bit about what he has meant to me over my life. I think the first time I ever heard the voice of Ronnie James Dio was with the Heaven and Hell album by Black Sabbath. And I remember specifically at the time, because I was 1980, and I was just getting into Sabbath like a year or so before. So you can imagine, again, no internet back then. And all the news you hear about what's going on with our favorite bands and albums and music and tours and things like that, you would either get from like Hit Parade or a Circus magazine or something like that. Maybe you'd read something in the newspaper. Maybe you'd hear something on the radio, right? But for the most part, you would see a new album pop up in the store by your favorite band or a new band you never discovered. You'd buy it, you bring it home, you listen to it. It's like, oh, okay. And I remember bringing home Heaven and Hell and popping that in. Like, wait a second, where's Ozzy on the back of the album cover? That's not Ozzy singing. Oh, but this guy's really, really good. And thinking, maybe things are going to be okay in the Sabbath camp without Ozzy, with this new guy, Ronnie James Dio, and falling in love with that album, and then going out and discovering that he sang with my boy Richie Blackmore, because I was a big Deep Purple fan at the time, in Rainbow, and going out and discovering those 3 studio Rainbow albums and the live album, and then waiting patiently for that next Sabbath album, Mob Rules. And then after that comes out and the live album, he's gone from there. And thinking, oh, my new favorite singer is leaving my favorite band, or has left my favorite band. What am I going to do now? Well, then he started up his own band. And I fell in love with that band, the band called Dio. Got to see him play with Dio many, many times. Got to see him with Black Sabbath on the Mob Rules tour. And I remember just like being a young kid, teenage kid, or in my 20s, early 20s, in the mid-late 80s, and going to see, whoever Ronnie was, whether it was with Sabbath or with the Dio band, and just that guy up on stage, just commanding the audience and treating the audience with this kind of specialness and love that he always showed his fans. And I think that was really, really important. I think Ronnie always had this special connection with the fans and always wanted to give the fans as much as he could. I never got to meet him, sadly. That's like the one thing I regret. I would have loved to have met him and spoken to him. Like I think if he was still alive, he would have been my number one on my radar, because I do have people that I know who got to meet him, and they all say the same thing. And I think I would have gotten along really, really well with Ronnie James Dio. And but yeah, it's he's really missed. It's like, I can go and listen to any of his music, any albums that he sang on, and it brings a smile to my face. It brings emotion to me. Like, I think I've told this story before. It was a couple of years ago, actually, but one day I decided I wanted to listen to Rainbow Rising at the gym one day, and it was like a cardio day, so I was on the treadmill, I was on the elliptical, and I'm listening to Rainbow Rising, and Stargazer comes on, and as everybody knows, it's one of my favorite songs of all time, and literally I'm sitting there getting into it, and I'm like on it, and I'm singing along to myself, and I broke down, because I realized how much I miss this guy, and I miss his contributions to the music world and to my life, and I'm like, and granted, we still have all these old albums and songs to be with us for the rest of our time, and that's very special. But I never realized how much a song like that, and how much a performance like that on Stargazer from this guy really has affected my life, and really moved me. And it just, all of a sudden, this like wave of like sadness that he's no longer with us, and the greatness of that performance and that song just completely swept me over. And I remember there was someone on the elliptical next to me, and they looked up, it's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine." It's like, I'm just listening to a song that really just kind of got me in the moment, type of thing. And I said at that one time, after that, I said, you know what, that this is not something I can listen to when I'm like out with, in a setting like that. I don't think anymore going forward. To me, Stargazer is meant to be experienced, I think, when I'm kind of alone by myself. I can enjoy it and not worry about how it affects me and who will see me and whatnot, and just get in that zone, type of thing. But yeah, he's just, he was a special person. Again, never having met him, I think I feel pretty secure in saying that I think he was that special guy, based on everything I've heard. And, his little thing with Vivian Campbell, right? The back and forth between those two guys notwithstanding, I don't think I've ever heard a bad word said about Ronnie James Dio by anybody else. And so that's kind of how I thought he was. And would I've loved to have met him for sure, but I love the fact that his music has affected me in such a great way for so many years, and will continue for as long as I'm on this earth. And I still can't believe it's been 15 years. It's just how time goes by so quickly. And we realize every day, every week, every year, on his passing, on his birthday, or just on a day we happen to put Mob Rules on and listen to it, or listen to Holy Diver, or whatever it might be, that we're like, oh God, I can't believe he's been gone for so long. And we'll probably continue to feel this way. He's one of those special guys. There have been a lot of rock stars that I've always loved that have left us, and we're always sad on the day they're gone. But eventually you get over it, you accept it, and you kind of go on. You still listen to and love their music. But I think that the void left by Ronnie James Dio, who was the true ambassador of heavy metal and the true supporter of his fan base, loved all of us, that can never be replaced. And there's a void left, I think. So, but he's up there looking down on us. He's hanging out with all those other legends. And I think the spirit of Ronnie James Dio will forever live on in all of us. Will forever live on in a lot of other bands who have come in the wake of Dio and Sabbath and Rainbow and all that sort of stuff, who are doing music that sort of pays a homage to the greatness of Ronnie James Dio. So Ronnie James Dio will forever live on, I think. He's not here physically anymore, but his presence is felt. So yeah, we miss you, Ronnie. Gone 15 years today, on this day, May 16th, 2025. And thanks for watching, everybody. Please post your comments and thoughts and memories of Ronnie James Dio down in the comment section below. And we'll see you next time. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Thank you. Bye-bye.